The Adventures of Jason and Marco. We're the off-brand Rick and Morty. And that is an original bolt, too. I've never replaced this.
Focus.
That is fantastic. Marco's zipper is undone.
Gay! Why are you looking at it, bro?
Because the fucking bolt is right there, and I'm looking down at the bolt.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Jesus, man. I mean, I know you get excited around me, but... I meant to do that.
Yeah, right.
I wonder if these are the same thread. I wonder if I can just thread this right onto here. I don't actually know. Can I? Oh, I can. I can keep it organized. As organized as what I qualify for being organized. Okay, so these ones just pop off at the bottom, and then they just pop off right up here. When we go to reassemble this, we're probably going to put some grease on the shaft here, a little bit of grease in here, a little bit of grease in here. You know, just to make sure everything stays well lubricated, nothing wears out prematurely, you know. These shocks too, these are aftermarket shocks. I kept blowing the air ride suspension on this thing. Because we're in Grand Rapids and we just have giant potholes because our road commission thinks that our interstates need to be redone every, what'd you say, 4 years, Marco?
So
like every
about
4 years?
Yeah.
And our back roads don't mean anything.
At all.
So, like, literally the last time I blew up the air shocks on this, I was on Leonard Street. And there was a pothole as big as my tire, which I could not avoid because there was other people on the road. So I was forced to hit it. And not only did it blow out my air shocks, it knocked off this panel nearly onto the ground. Thankfully, my leg caught it. And like this panel right here is a $100 panel. This tiny little panel right here. This is a $100 panel that the road commission would never pay for. So, yeah, I got tired of it. I just went to these. These are fully adjustable. They're fantastic. I think I paid like $80 for them on Amazon. You know, they're well worth it. Especially if you have other riders with you, somebody on the back of the bike. It just makes it a lot nicer being able to go down the road. Don't get me wrong, the air shocks are fantastic. This bike has air shocks. It's great. But this one, you can fully adjust it. You can make it softer for when you're just riding by yourself. You can make it a stiffer ride, so when you have somebody on the back, your ride quality maintains the same the same quality. So, you know, they're all around really great. This one on this side is different. So instead of having a bolt and a nut up top, this has a nut on bottom and a nut on top. Ugh. And so now that is free from that. This can now go up and down as it pleases. So I'm gonna have to find something to stick underneath of this here in a minute. We're gonna get the shocks off first, and then we'll get this bolt loose, or this nut loose here, and the bolts for the final drive probably taken out, and we'll probably just remove this entire thing all as one unit after we get the drive shaft out of it. These will go here with that, and everything's literally just going to stay in place because my daughter is not going to come out here and mess anything up. Okay, so now we are on to the rear brakes. We have this bolt here. This is a 14. We have this bolt here, which is a 12. I believe this one is also 12 or a 10 right here, and this is for the caliper bracket, which will come out when we take the shaft out. This is going to stay here. Forgot to grab the massaging tool to get that off. So we're going to stick that there a quick sec, and we're going to take these out. And see, again, this is what they're supposed to look like. They're supposed to be really nice, still supposed to have grease on them. These all get cleaned up, new grease and everything, you know, but it's good to know that they were still actually doing what it is that they were supposed to do. So now we'll go ahead and lose our tool in the... Again, absolutely amazing. A little bit of corrosion there at the end, but nothing too bad. Easily cleanable. And then this has a cotter pin in it, which doesn't look like it was very cotter pinny. That's a word. I don't know. I'm sure somebody on YouTube at some point will let me know when we become famous, because we're obviously not famous. Because we're idiots. Ugh. There we go, one cotter pin. And we're going to set that somewhere where we're absolutely going to lose that. And it does appear that that was in fact a 12. So we're going to push the bolt right up the back side of that. And it does have a washer on it, so just be wary of that. Stick this back on here a minute. And then what we're actually going to do is we're going to take that cotter pin that we lost, stick it right back in there, and fold it over so it can't come out. Then we're going to stick that entire bolt somewhere so we can lose it. Now, if you well and truly care about your motorcycle, this is not something you'll do. What you'll do is you'll get in there in the side and you'll actually push the brake piston, the caliper pistons back, or you'll take off your line here and move them back so as it doesn't have any pressure on it at that point. We're not going to do that because we're lazy, so we're going to tap this off. Hopefully. Nice and lightly. And this is going to take a while, so Marco's going to do a... Oh, maybe Marco wasn't going to have to do a time lapse.
There you go. Love taps.
Literally just love taps. We do not want to actually break anything. We do actually care. And we do actually care about other people's safety too. So just love taps until that comes off of there. These brake pads actually look just fine. So most likely the reason that it was squeaking was literally just because of the ridge that's on this. Which... wow, there is a ridge on the backside of that like a mother. Wow. Yeah, so we'll get rid of that. We'll get a new surface on it. It'll be fine. I promise it'll be fine. We'll go through another video at some point in time on how to actually change these brakes, which is actually semi-complicated, which is dumb. I don't understand why Honda did exactly what they did. Also, surprisingly enough, this brake rotor is so thin that these pistons are actually extended out quite a bit of ways. So, I will probably actually get a new rotor for this one.
Good old
Wow.
Amazon.
Okay, so this sits in a tab in here that we need to get out. So we're going to bend this up just a little bit and out. Gently pull our brake caliper through there. Set that down off to the side, and oh my god, YouTube's gonna murder me because, you know, I'm letting it hang. Guess what? If you're not reefing on the thing, it's fine. It's not gonna hurt it. Not to mention, the real reason why people tell you not to do that is because if you have really old, really fragile brake lines, which don't get me wrong, these are from 1983. These are original brake lines on this thing. And you can tell that because it actually still has a factory yellow mark on it of where it was actually marked at the factory that it was actually put on. You can actually look on 90% of these bikes, and they have that if somebody has not done this and rubbed it off. Now it doesn't have it. But that was a factory mark that was on it. So I just devalued my bike. Not really. Okay, next thing we're going to do. So we're going to take this bolt right here and take it out. And now we need to actually lift this entire tire up. See if we can't move this just a little bit. I wish I had a non-marring hammer for this, but you know, nobody's gonna see that but me, so it's fine. And if I would have loosened up the other side, then that would have been a lot easier to do. But again, nobody's ever gonna see this but me. That's not taking away from the strength of it any, tapping it forward like that. We're just moving it out of the way. Just making sure that stuff is nice and free, because this bar here can now move off this way. So that way we can actually get stuff apart. So I'm going to grab something in a minute. We're going to see if we can't get this lifted up. And I know that actually lifts up pretty far. So what I actually have is, sitting over there, I have a rear drum off of a 3/4 ton Chevy truck from the 90s. And they are ginormous and heavy and exactly what we need. So we'll be right back. I'm going to grab that, and then we're going to get that under here. All you got to do is just lift the tire up, shove it under there. That way you actually have working space. So we'll be right back as soon as I get that done.